Hello everyone, my name is Hanna Kreitem and I work with the Internet Society. Today I'll be talking about something that's impossible to implement, seems particularly in the region, which is MANRS, the mutually agreed norms for routing security. Let's hope this works. So I know that most of you are already aware of what MANRS is, but I will go with a very, very brief introduction on why MANRS matter. So the Border Gateway Protocol, the BGP, which controls the networks that connect to other networks making up the internet, is built entirely on trust. And thus it's open to several forms of attacks and related issues, including prefix and route hijacks, route leaks, and IP spoofing. So these are the main issues that we face, or you probably have faced as network operators when relying on BGP. Then MANRS came. The mutually agreed norms for routing security aims to offer some small fixes to some issues that would result in security flows within the BGP and the way networks talk to each other and communicate across each other. The key word here, or the key term here, is collective responsibility. It leverages the fact that if we work together as networks, we can enhance the level of security when it comes to routing. So collective responsibility is very important here. It's not only about protecting your own network, it's about protecting the whole internet as well by doing your role of stopping malicious leaks and hijacks from propagating, basically. There are different MANRS programs targeted at different types of players within this ecosystem. We have the network operator program, which is the largest program in terms of number of participants. The target market for this program is the 70-something ASNs around the world. So this is very huge target market. We also have a program for CDNs and cloud providers. We have a program for vendors, hardware vendors, and a program for IXPs. I can imagine that among this crowd, there will be more interest into the network operators program and the IXPs. The aim, again, is to ensure or enhance the level of security and the resiliency of the Internet's global routing system. More on the programs. For each program, we have a set number of actions that people running or are responsible for the network, for the CDN, for the IXP, or with the vendor that they can take. And these small steps make a huge difference when it comes to routing security. For the network operators program, we have 4 actions, 3 of which are mandatory, 1 is optional, and I'll go these in more details later on the actions. CDNs and cloud providers are required to implement technical actions similar to the network operators, plus promoting MANRS and providing tools to people they work with to make it easier for them to conform with MANRS. Again, this relies on the collaborative responsibility that we mentioned earlier. In similar manner, the IXPs are also required to do technical changes and technical actions, plus providing tools and promotion of MANRS to their peers and participants. Vendors are requested to make it easy for network operators to implement the actions, promote MANRS or the actions, and commit to the ongoing activities, provide training, and so furthermore. So how do you conform with MANRS? Or the question is here, why it's impossible to be MANRS conformant or MANRS participant? If you looked at the MANRS readiness numbers, this is, by the way, from our observatory, MANRS Observatory, where you can see a conformance of different, with the different actions. Here you can see the 4 main action. Action 4 is split into 2, basically, a global validation, either through registering with your IRR, or global validation through implementation of RPKI. The numbers globally, as you can see, reflect that there are a good number of networks across the 70-some thousand ASNs networks that compose the internet are ready to be MANRS participants. If you looked at the regional numbers, here, Middle East, or Middle East by the definition of MENOG, the numbers in some parts are even better than the global numbers. I have just to point out here that the numbers for the anti-spoofing relies on the data available. So from the data we have, 100% is conformant. But that doesn't mean that 100% of the networks are conformant. It is 100% of the networks that ran the tests that provide us with the data, basically. As you can see here, there is a huge prospect for networks to be MANRS participants, as they are already ready in terms of conformance. However, there are still some steps that needs to be taken by networks to become MANRS participants. Just a track of time. Okay. The number of MANRS participants have grown steadily over the years, as you can see from this graph. This graph covers from August 2018 until the end of November this year. As you can see, there is a steady increase. We introduced the IXP program with the Network Operators program, and then later on we introduced the CDN and Cloud Provider program. And lately, just last year, we launched the vendor program. As of the end of the last month, we had 747 participants within the Network Operators program. For the CDN and Cloud Providers, 22, which is a good number in terms of the target market. For the IXPs, we have 107 IXPs, our participants. And from the vendors, we have 6 vendors, which is, again, a very good number when it comes to the target market. The Network Operators group is a number that we still need to work on the most, to cover as many networks as possible to build higher resiliency to routing incidents. For the region, unfortunately, there are only 18 networks that are MANRS participants and 3 IXPs. The IXPs that are MANRS participants, UAE IX, SAIX, and DICX Istanbul. So among those, the only IXP that is not supported by DICX is basically the Saudi Internet Exchange Point at this moment. So there is a lot of room for any of you to become either the 4th IXP, the 19th, or the 20th MANRS participant from the region. What does it take to become a MANRS participant as a network? And here I'm focusing on the network operators group, network operators program. Well, obviously, you will need some time. You will need to know how to implement the actions, and you will need resources to guide you through the implementation. Sometimes you need some resources to do some testing and so on. However, in my opinion, most of you are well equipped to do that, particularly with the resources available. So if you looked at the first action, filtering. Filtering is basically to be able to prevent the propagation of incorrect routing information. So it's not about you providing correct routing information, it's just to filter out the traffic with the incorrect routing information. What is required is to use Internet routing registries, IRRs, usually provided by the regional internet registries, and require your customers to register their routes as well. Luckily, within the RIPE region, RIPE provided very easy tools for you to do that. In similar manner, we use of the Resource Public Key Infrastructure, RPKI, as well require customers to create ROAs, the root origin authorizations. And again, for within the RIPE region, this is very easy to be done. You can also use internal database if you didn't wish to use your IRR to provide the information as well. So there is a document. Here it says this document, but there is a document that will help you within that. However, it does focus on the first two options. The document is the MANRS guide for the network operators. You will see this link on all the other slides, so don't worry about taking it. The second action, which is optional but recommended, is anti-spoofing, implementation of anti-spoofing. This simply means to verify the source address for at least your single home sub customer networks and prevent spoof traffic from passing through your network. In technical terms, in the past, this used to be resource intensive. Nowadays, with the new networking equipment, it became easy to implement without causing a lot of added overhead on the equipment itself in terms of usage. The recommendation, the easiest way, is to implement URPF in strict mode. If you are a small network, single home, multi-home, you can easily implement it. This action would require some testing if you want to roll it out correctly, but the effect is tremendous in preventing spoof traffic from passing through your network. You don't want to be not only patient zero, but carrier of the spoof traffic. Again, our guide provides even sample configurations for you to use and guide links to other resources. So it is relatively easy to implement. In my estimation, it wouldn't take a simple network more than 1 or 2 days to implement, between looking at options, some small testing, rolling out, and so on. So it's not that a lot of time to invest in protecting the internet. The third action is another very simple action, which is to make it available or possible for people to find your contact if they needed to reach you for any incident related to your network. Luckily, there are multiple databases where you can make this information available. And we require MANRS participants to have this information available in at least one of the common databases: RADB, Afrinic, RIPE database, PeerDB, and so forth, as well as your public website. The aim here is to make it possible for other networks to coordinate with you as a network, to inform you if they received something suspicious from your network, or they think that something can be done to enhance security of your network, or so on. This would take possibly 10 minutes to 1 hour if you wanted to do it over coffee. So it's not that resource intensive action, but the result is visible in that it allows other networks to find you, to reach out to you. The fourth action, which is a recommended action, but you have two options of implementing it. You are required to perform global validation, to validate routing information on a global scale, which would result in network operators able to communicate to your adjacent networks which announcements are correct and which are not. You can either implement that through registering within your IRR or through RPKI. Of course, it is optional to you to see which path is better for you. Again, there are code snippets and configurations available for you as sample and way to work or implement this action. This may be a little bit of a resource-intensive action to implement in terms of time, but still, it's within the couple of days region. So overall, in order to become MANRS participant, MANRS conformant, you will need few days, a week or so to work on the actions. If you took your time to go through the documentations, to read, learn, test, and roll out. I tried to compile the common issues that people face when joining MANRS. Unfortunately, the first obstacle is actually taking the first step and filling in the application form. The application form is very simple. First, we just ask about your information, your organization information, and then we ask you to tell us, are you conformant with Action 1? Yes? Tell us how, if you wish. Are you conformant with Action 2? The same thing. Action 3, Action 4. That's it. So the application is simple in a way, but still taking this first step and filling it out seems to be something that's stopping many networks from becoming MANRS participants. The second thing that we have noticed as being an issue or that causes delays in the processing of applications is the availability of anti-spoofing data. We ask networks to run spoofer tests from Kreitem to be able to get the data on their status when it comes to anti-spoofing or preventing spoof traffic from passing through their network. In the application itself, it asks you, if you checked Action 2, please, to facilitate the auditing of your application, please do run this little tool. And for the region, for some reason, Action 3 seems within the networks that applied. I know that the results showed, the conformance showed high percentage, but within the very few networks that applied Action 3, the coordination was not perfect. It needed more work. But again, this is very easy to fix. Once you apply, we aim to respond within 2 to 3 days with with the result of your application. Whether there are some issues that needs to be tackled, we list those. We try to be as thorough as possible in providing the details to enable you to work on fixing the issues as easy as possible. If your network is conformant, you will receive a welcome email, and so on. Another one of the requirements that I also need to mention is that we require your network to be visible for at least 3 months to be able to look at the data for at least 3 months for your network. Sometimes we get delays, but usually within a week you should receive a response. Now, if you are interested, if you wanted to know about the conformance status of your network, you can reach out to either me or my colleague Max, and we will be happy to walk you through the results of your networks. Yes, we do have results for your network. So it's there. You can come. We can show it to you, and this may encourage you to apply or not. So what's next? Go ahead, apply. As simple as that. It's free, it's easy, and you are most probably ready. Your network is most probably ready for that. So thank you very much, and I will open for any questions if you have.
Hi. Yes, hi. Thank you for the presentation, Judd, NCC. I'd like to circle back on the action number 2, the anti-spoofing one.
Yes.
Since you did mention that the question of implementing it being resource intensive, why don't you make it, a mandatory action yet again? Is there another dimension to the issue here, like operators losing revenue if they implement it?
I will use this question to highlight something related to the governance of MANRS. So there is now a committee that basically runs from the community that basically runs MANRS, take all the decisions related to MANRS. This is just a very quick side note. The main reason is that some people see that anti-spoofing is not directly connected to route leaks and route hijacks, which are the main issues related to the routing security. So it is still an important action to take, still a very easy action to implement, and as I said, it's not that resource intensive anymore. But some may argue that it is not directly related to the global routing system.
Okay, arguable.
Yeah, yes, I know. It's arguable, but yeah. We will, by the way, we will be rolling out a new program called MANRS Plus, which requires stricter conformance and which allows you as a network to brag that I am ready for the action in preventing security issues related to a routing system.
All right, thanks.